Hi friends, welcome to Bowl of Light Yoga. I'm Danielle. This is a practice for spinal flexibility. This practice is not appropriate if you're pregnant, and if you have any type of spinal injury, be sure to check with your doctor first. I will be using blocks and a blanket in this practice. So to begin, let's just come to a comfortable seated position. Come to your Sukhasana. Find a nice long spine. Center your shoulders over your hips. And if you feel comfortable doing so, go ahead and close down your eyes. And we'll just take a moment here before we begin to scan the body and settle in. So I like to begin at the top of my head and just slowly move down as I scan my body and just see what I notice. Sometimes I notice I'm holding tension unnecessarily and I can release that. Sometimes maybe I notice a spot that feels a little tight, maybe a little tense. Maybe I notice an area that feels open and expansive. Doesn't matter what you notice. The point is just connecting with your body and noticing what it's telling you. And let's begin to connect with our breath here a bit. So let's take a few deep breaths in, counting for 4, and exhaling for a count of 4. So go ahead and let's begin together. Deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And deep breath out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing inhaling. And exhale. Spinal flexibility plays a big role in our ability to take big, complete, full breaths. Let's begin to sync up some head nods with this. So on your next inhale, begin to trace your chin up to the sky, stopping before you feel any pain in your neck. And as you exhale, let's lower chin to the chest. On your next deep breath in for a count of 4, chin goes back up to the sky. And exhaling for a count of 4, chin to chest. Let's do 2 more of these. Remembering the neck is an extension of the spine. So neck flexibility is also spinal flexibility. 1 more here. And when you're finished, you can return to center and gently open your eyes if they're not already open. And we'll just do some head twists side to side. So inhaling, look to one side, and exhaling over to the other side. Let's do 2 more of these, moving with your breath. And when you're finished, you can return to center. I like to come off of my blanket. For this next part, we're going to do some seated twists, so you can decide what's appropriate for you. So let's inhale, sweep arms up overhead, and as you exhale, turn to the right. Right hand comes behind, left hand comes to right knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, opposite side. Let's do that again. Inhaling back up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling to the right. And this time we'll stay here for a few breaths. So you can plant right hand behind you. You can press a little bit into your knee with your left hand here. And take a few deep breaths in this twist. Take one more deep, full breath here. And the next inhale, return to center. And exhale to the left, planting left hand behind you, right hand to left knee, and twist. And twists are so great for spinal flexibility because they give us this squeeze and soak action. So the twisting actually squeezes intervertebral discs, our core muscles, and some internal organs. Let's take one more deep breath in this twist. And just exhale, return to center. And then when we release our twists, those discs and spine, the discs in our spine and the organs can then soak up some new fluid, some fresh, invigorated fluid. So twists are great for spinal flexibility and health of our intervertebral discs. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and come into tabletop position. So we will be spending some time here. So if you like to pad your knees, go ahead and do that. So let's come on into our tabletop position here. Firm up through your abs. We're going to do thread the needle. So as you inhale, let's raise right arm to the sky. And exhale, thread right arm behind left. Right ear and shoulder come to the mat here for thread the needle. You have lots of options with your hand. You can leave it pressed firmly in front of your face, and that kind of helps you get more of a twist in your upper back. You can walk it out in front of you and begin to look under your armpit here. Or maybe you want to wrap it around your back and try and take a hold of your right thigh for a bind. And then you can stay on both knees here. Just make sure you're not allowing your hips to fall over to the left. You're keeping them centered. You can also take this left leg here and step it back. So find your thread the needle and take a few more deep breaths. If your leg is extended, return your knee. Return your hand to in front of your face if it's not there. On your next deep inhale, we'll press firmly into left hand, raising right arm back up to the sky. And exhale, set that back down. Right arm to the other side. Inhale, left arm up. And exhale, thread left hand behind right. Coming into thread the needle on this side. Choosing your arm variation, whatever works best for you. Remembering that maybe what you did yesterday is not what's best for your body today. Just be sure to meet your body wherever it's at. Yoga is not about the posture. It's about your presence in the posture. Are you connecting with your body? Are you connecting with your breath? Or are you just moving through these postures while your mind is somewhere else? Return your leg if it's extended. Return your arm, your right hand, back to in front of your face. And on your next deep breath in, press firmly into that right hand. Left arm goes up to the sky. And exhale, set that back down. And let's begin to flow through some cat-cows here. So inhaling as you pull your heart through your shoulders. Tailbone and crown of head flare up to the sky for cow. Then exhale, rounding, crown of head moves to the floor. Tailbone moves towards the space between your legs for cat. Just flow through this with your own breath. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. Let's take 2 more full cycles. When you're finished, return to neutral. And depending where you're set up on your mat, you might need to shift back a little bit. We're coming into Anahatasana, or heart melting pose. So you want to make sure your hips stay directly over your knees. Walk your hands forward. And then we're going to melt our heart towards the earth. You can bring your forehead to the mat, or if you have this flexibility in your neck, you can bring your chin to the mat. If there is any pain in your neck, then return your forehead to the mat. You can also take your head to a block. So find what works best in your body. Take one more deep, full breath here in Anahatasana. And when you finish, begin to walk your hands back in. Tuck your toes under. Spread your fingers wide and lift your hips to downward facing dog. Go ahead and begin to pedal your legs out, bending one knee at a time. Or just finding any movement here in this downward facing dog that feels good to you. On your next inhale, look forward between your hands and begin to walk your feet to the top of your mat. For forward fold, bend your knees deeply, rest your belly on your thighs as you just roll forward here, releasing your back, releasing your neck. Maybe you want to sway side to side a little bit, or maybe you'd like to take hand to opposite elbow. Just continue to breathe deeply. If your hands are not on the earth, release them to the earth. Bring your hands to your shin on a deep breath in. Come to halfway lift. Find some length in your spine. Exhale, fold forward. This time keep your legs a little bit straighter. And on your next breath in, sweep your arms down, around, and up as you lift up to standing. Palms meet above your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms down, around, and up. Take your left wrist in your right hand, and as you exhale, side bend to the right, creating space in the left side body. Inhale, back up to center. Switch hands, and on your exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, come back up to center. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, coming back up to center, and exhaling over to the left. Inhale, back up to center. Let's maybe find a little bit of a back bend here if you'd like. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Hands come to the earth, or maybe even to a block here for this halfway lift. Let's get a lot of length in the spine. And then plant your left hand either to the floor, directly under your face, or move a block to that spot. And let's inhale, find some length in the spine, and open right arm up to the sky for a twist. Let's take a few deep breaths here in this twist. Trying to keep your hips square to the earth here so the twist is happening in the torso. Let's Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, returns right hand to the block or to the earth. And inhale that left arm up for a nice big twist. Deep, full breaths here. One more deep breath in. And exhale, return left hand. Just set those blocks off to the side of your mat. Return your hands to the earth, framing your feet, and we'll just step right on back to downward facing dog again. Take a moment here to pedal out your legs if you want, and then we'll come to stillness. Let's inhale, right leg up as high as you can. Stack your hips, open your hips to the right, bend right knee. Take a nice moment here. Let's inhale, straighten right leg, square it back off to the mat. And as you exhale, pull your right knee forward, right foot between your hands. We're coming up to warrior one. So set up your back foot so heel is planted, toes are at a 45-degree angle. Let's move your right foot over to the right side of the mat just a bit. Bend your leg, and when you're ready, upper body comes up. And sink down in. Warrior one, I always like to take my hands to my hips here and make sure that I'm pulling right hip back and left hip forward so my hips are square to the front. When I've got that, I bend into my knee a little bit more. Hands go up. Let's take a bit of a back bend here. So go ahead and release your arms down. Clasp your hands behind your back. And on a nice deep breath in, open your chest to the sky, pressing your fist towards the earth. We'll take one more deep breath here. Go ahead and keeping this back bend if you can, straighten front leg. Let's take a deep breath in here, maybe even a little deeper back bend. And as you exhale, we'll fold forward into pyramid pose. Fists can come up to the sky, or you can release your hands to the earth or to your blocks at any time. If your arms are up, go ahead and release them to the earth. Bend into your front knee just a bit, pop up on your back toes, and then right foot steps back to meet left foot in downward facing dog. Let's inhale, left leg up as high as you can. Stack your hips, open your hips to the left, bend left knee. Take a deep breath here. Next inhale, square left leg to the mat. And as you exhale, pull left leg through, step it forward, and set up for warrior one on this side. When you've got your foundation, lift your upper body. Make sure your hips are square to the front of the mat. Make the adjustments you need. And when you're ready, we'll clasp hands behind back. You can also take opposite elbow here if you'd like, or even maybe reverse prayer hands. And let's find a back bend, opening the heart to the sky. Let's straighten that front leg. Inhale, find a deeper back bend if you can, and exhale, folding forward into pyramid pose. releasing your hands to the earth at whatever time is appropriate to you. Front leg can definitely have a bend. It does not need to be straight. We're just working towards straight. If your hands are up, release them to the earth, bend into your front leg, pop up on your back toes, and step back to downward facing dog one last time. On your next inhale, we'll come to plank position. So shoulders come over wrists. You may need to adjust your feet just a bit here. And then we'll just bend the elbows and lower all the way to your belly. Go ahead and take your hands out to the side. I like to kind of tent my fingers. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat here. And we're going to do some rolling cobras. So as you inhale, press into your fingers and lift your upper body off the floor. And exhale, roll back down. Inhale, come up. And exhale, roll down. Let's do a few more of these with your own breath. Back bending and twisting. Open and expand Anahata chakra through the chest area there, increasing the flow of prana to heart center. Let's do one more of these. And we'll release back down. Go ahead and bring your hands in front of you. Release your forehead onto your hands and just bend your knees. And you can just take your feet side to side a bit. Alligator, just a way to relieve your low back after some back bends. And when you're done, you can just return the tops of your feet to the floor. And we'll come into Salabhasana here, or locust. So you may want to have a blanket under your hips for this. This can get pretty ouchy on your hip points here, so you may just want to pad your hips before we move into Salabhasana. So when you're ready, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Hands are down by your side. And on the inhale, we'll just lift upper body first off the mat. So your shoulders, your upper body here lifted. There's energy through your legs. You're using and building back strength here. And if you'd like to, take full locust. You can float the legs up off the floor. Breathing deeply. I always like the feeling of moving up and down with the inhales and exhales in these poses. If you'd like to here, you can come into full Dhanurasana, bow pose. Just go ahead and bend your knees, take hold of your ankles, and then kick your feet into your hands, lifting up to bow. Breathe into the space where you feel the most sensation here. And allow your exhales to disperse that sensation through your whole body. If you have a hold of your ankles, gently release them. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's go ahead and push back up through tabletop position. And let's take a few cat-cows here to counteract that. So let's inhale, coming to cow, and exhale, rounding to cat. Let's do two more. Last one. Let's return to neutral. Big toes together, knees to the sides of your mat. Sink back into Balasana, child's pose here. You could also, if you want, bring your knees together and do this version of child's pose, whichever feels appropriate in your body. Take one more deep, full breath in Balasana. And begin to walk your hands back in, bringing yourself slowly to a seated position. Coming to Sukhasana, just as we began class. And let's take another moment here. Close down your eyes if you feel comfortable. And let's do another body scan. Noticing if anything is different than the body scan you did at the beginning of class. And there's no judgment on what you notice, even if it's that nothing has changed. There's no judgment. The point is connecting with your body and noticing. And if your eyes are closed, let's gently blink them open. Let's seal our practice with one deep breath here. So as you take a deep breath in, let's sweep the arms down, around, and up. Palms meet overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.